Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scotty D, and your host, the head of creative Eddie Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. We talking sports. It's Wednesday, and you know what time it is. It's time for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. You see all this index finger with a piece of lint on it, but that's neither here nor there. My name is Eddie Cool. I am the HOC and the host of the Sports Bros Podcast. Now, y'all know that I cannot do this by myself. I've tried. Not as fun. I'm quite boring if you want to know the truth. But in the words of the almighty B-Live, I digress. I have not only one, but two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? All I can say is, I've been saying this for the past couple weeks, it's absolute madness. Just what else can be said? We're going to talk about college basketball, but it's just, who would have thunk it? I don't, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Congratulations to yours truly, the one, the only, the HOC, the head of creative, Eddie Cool, for winning the Sports Bros Bracket Challenge. It's already done.
Really?
There's nothing we can do. Everybody that put in a bracket in our Sports Bros Managed Bracket Challenge, all of our teams are eliminated. There's nobody that can improve their bracket going into the Final Four. That's how madness it is. That's how crazy it is. Eddie Cool, congratulations, with a whopping 510 points, winning the bracket challenge. That's how you couldn't have even come close to it. Go ahead and introduce the other guy. We're going to talk about it in just a moment. Go ahead and introduce the other guy. It's insanity. Yes, sir.
All right, and the other guy, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. But before that, he is pound for pound the toughest lunch lady in all of Washington County. He is the money man, Scotty D.
Do-do-dee-do-dum-dum. Breaking up is hard to do. We'll be talking about the quarterback and his breakup with this team here in just a little bit. But first, guys, if you went back to our anniversary episode a couple weeks ago and listened to my prediction, you will remember I did not do very well on the right side of the bracket, but I had San Diego State versus Florida Atlantic all the way. So I am proud that I was able to accomplish that prediction. The only man in America that predicted that. I didn't write it down in our brackets, but I did predict it on that show. You can go back and listen to it, and you'll know that I predicted San Diego State versus.
I wish I had one of those big ones. Tap.
Okay, so
big tap. That's what the kids say today. Why you always lying? Oh my God.
So last year we had Villanova versus Kansas, Duke versus North Carolina. And if you would have told me that someone out there picked those four teams to go to the Final Four last year, I could have probably said, okay. But you can't convince me anybody in this country anywhere singled out these four teams, unless you did one of those 90 million bracket with every possibility kind of forms. But those of us who do brackets, nobody picked this. This is amazing. At the same time, you got to wonder, what are the ratings going to be like for San Diego State versus Florida Atlantic? Or most people say, well, my bracket's gone. I don't even care at this more. I'm just gonna go watch the XFL. Well, by the way, whose ratings are going down like a fat kid on a seesaw at the moment. But anyway, this tournament
See, there you go. See, that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that's unnecessary. The ratings are down because they're competing against March Madness.
That's what I hear.
Everybody's ratings is down. The NBA.
That's what I hear.
Nobody's watching the NBA. Nobody's watching the WWE. They're watching March Madness. That's why the ratings are down. But go ahead.
We got 3 more games to watch. But let's talk about some of what we saw. Eddie, cool. Let's get this thing start on the right foot here.
With that being said, let's hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. Fellas, as you mentioned, we are at the 4, and then there were 4. All right, we got UConn. We got San Diego State. We also have, why am I drawing a blank? I'm sorry, no. Florida.
Miami.
Miami and Florida Atlantic. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. When you've been running as much as me, you're drawing blank. So anyways, it's 4 teams they're playing. 2 of them going to play a national championship game, and somebody going to win the damn national title. Fellas, the first question I have here, can UConn be stopped? Because they're blowing everybody clean out the water, Scotty D. What you think?
Well, I tell you what, they just made Gonzaga look like they didn't even belong on the same floor as they did. Gonzaga was only down a couple points like 2 minutes ago in the first half, and then it just was like over. Going into the locker room, UConn grabbed the momentum, and then when they came out, it was just over. They just ran away from them. They ran away and hit. So Gonzaga, UConn beat Gonzaga 82-54. UConn beat St. Mary's 70-55. They beat Iona 87-63. They're the one team that hasn't had a good game to watch. Every one of their games has been blowouts. Having said that, if you would have asked me this question a couple days ago, I would have said nobody's beating UConn. Nobody's going to touch them. But something about Miami, as the week goes on, the more I think about it, that team is coached so well. You don't go to a Final Four with 2 different teams, especially when one of them is George Mason, unless you were a superior coach. And Laranga is proving to be a superior coach, because this is a year ago, Miami was in the Elite 8. This year, they've taken that next step into the Final Four. So with their experience, and they're not going to be afraid of UConn. That's the one thing. It seemed like Gonzaga maybe got stared down a little bit whenever the storm hit. They couldn't weather it, and UConn just ran away from them, and it was over. Miami, they do rely a little bit on the outside shot, but I do think that they can. I think they can hang with UConn. Having said that, Miami, in their comeback against Texas, they were down 10, 12 13. Points with about 13 points with about 10 minutes ago. And they came roaring back without making 3-pointers. And that is near and dear to my heart. Actually, I was rooting for Texas because you and I both picked them to win the whole thing. So, you want to be right. You want to get at least one into the Final Four. But I was sitting there watching. I think I even texted you. I said, this is actually kind of a thing of beauty. These guys, they chipped away and just decided, instead of taking empty possessions with the deep ball, they were going to the rack. They were making their short, getting into the paint, making their shots and their free throws. And man, it'd be hard to bet against Miami as well. What do you think?
Before you go any further, first of all, shout out to the University of Texas for doing the right thing. Because when they fired Chris Beard early in the season because of his shenanigans and chicanery. And what's the coach's name now at Texas? I forgot his name. His name escapes me. But anyways, they removed the interim label.
Okay, good.
Off of his name, and now the job is. In words of the Almighty Belial back in 2004, pay attention, take notice. All right, when you got a guy coming in here with an interim label, and the guys play better than they did for the head coach, give him the damn job. Go ahead, B-Live.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to pull up his name eventually. But yeah, he was the interim coach throughout all this time, and these guys are playing inspired basketball. But man, Miami, like Scotty D said, they just chipped and chipped and chipped away. And hey, for all you fans out there of Common Core math, I know 3 is more than 2, but 2 is also more than 0. And if you have a more high percentage shot, you have numbers, go to the hole. My God. It's very simple. And Miami showed
it still works. It still works.
It works. And Miami showed you exactly how to do that. I'm going to start off with this preface. Yeah, I believe anybody can be stopped. This Final Four proves it. Yes, UConn has been running rough shit. But if anybody's going to do it, it'd be Miami. Because was it Jim Larinaga?
Mm-hmm.
just gritty, tough, and thank God there's still a representative from the ACC because, good Lord, this has been a rough year. It's been a rough year. If it's gonna be this way, it's gonna be this way. I'm gonna throw out just a little oddball thing that nobody really cares about when it comes to the tournament, the Final Four, the seedings, and all that stuff. Because the Final Four, you have the winners of the 4 regionals. All right, so just going to throw out there the winner of the South Regional. You know what I'm saying? South is where I reside. Y'all used to reside, whatever. The South was San Diego State University. I guess they're Southern California, but they're not considered the South. Not by a long shot.
Here we go, these geographically wrong team seedings again.
Winner of
North Carolina playing the West for what? But go ahead, B-Live, I'm sorry.
The winner of the West region was UConn, which could possibly be the furthest thing from the West. The Midwest region was won by Miami, which could possibly be the furthest from the Midwest. And the only one that could possibly make a slightest bit of sense is the winner of the East region, which was Florida Atlantic. And that's about it. They are sort of Eastern, I guess, but they're more Southern than Eastern. It didn't matter. I was just thinking the calamity, the insanity that we're going through. Anybody can be beat. And I think I said it also the other day. In all of this craziness, everything that we see, you do realize that either San Diego State University, San Diego, California, or Florida Atlantic, neither one of these teams have ever been to the Final Four. I don't think either one has been to the Elite Eight.
No.
One of these teams is going to be in the national championship. And I believe the only team out of the 4 that has won a championship is UConn. I think this is Miami's first Final Four. Mm-hmm. This is unprecedented. So, yes, I will be watching all of the games because I want to see history in the making. Man, it's I just, man.
Okay. So how do you feel about San Diego State considering the shootout with Creighton? How do you feel about the way that game ended? I should say the foul call and then the stopwatch situation with a couple ticks left on the clock.
Stopwatch, they got that absolutely right. The foul call.
Who has a stopwatch, by the way? Do you think someone pulled their cell phone and went to the watch app, or are they sitting there actually with a still stop?
I would think they would still have a stopwatch. You got to have. Okay. You got. At the end of the day, when all else fails, you got to go back analog, baby. You got to go back to the beginning of the beginning.
Yeah, fair enough.
As much as everything want to be so smart these days, and I watched that. I watched it. Of course, everybody that was watching that game watched it numerous times. But that was the first thing that stood out in my head was that they did not start the clock in time with 1.3 seconds to go. I was like, yeah. But when they started saying they were bringing out the stopwatch, I'm like, yep, this game's over. That's a wrap. Now that foul call here, this is always going to be a sore spot for me.
Similar to the way the Super Bowl ended, right? Where you have a questionable call on defense. I feel like these questionable calls seem to really rise up right at the end of the game.
It's got to be, I feel like at this point in time, it's got to be egregious, which at some point in time, where is that gray area where you're like not destroying the guy? But come on, these are touch fouls. I understand they could throw the guy off, but you could replay that thing over and over again, and you could see the ball was clearly out of his hand before anything really affected him. And the only thing you may be able to argue is that he may have gotten in the way of him coming down. I don't think it affected the shot. And it's so tough that when you have such great, gritty, tight basketball, it's put in the hands of the referees with the whistle in their mouth. It's just it's devastating. Like on both sides, like even like I thought he sold. I thought he did a little. He felt the hand and did a little extra. Nothing touched his arm ever, but he did this little dancing.
A little WWE, you say?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, come on, bro. But I mean, it's hey, you're taught that. You're taught that. There is a veteran move. You feel it, the slightest bit of hey, you try to get that call. He sold it well, and they're in the Final Four. The state that it shouldn't be in the hands of the referee at that point in time, because you could see anybody that's got two eyes could see that it really did not affect the shot. He was throwing that up in hopes that he got fouled.
Yeah, the guys on CBS when that game ended, the CBS studio show, a couple of guys, Kenny and I think Clark College said, that how did they put it? The shooter was displaced or something like that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, it doesn't take much to alter the shot. Yeah. But I think Charles Barkley said it best, but he was like, you could see that that ball was coming up short regardless. The ball was out of his hand before that contact actually happened. And it was like a bang bang play. And just with 1.3 seconds to go, that's not a call you meant with a tie game.
It was a tie game. Yeah, and it was a great game. And here's something I didn't like. I don't like hearing this stuff. I hear them say these referees are also officiating for a chance to move on. They want to make sure they're getting every call that gets evaluated completely correct so that they can advance. I guess the ones that are grading out best go further in the tournament. Maybe you ought to alter that system. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else you would do it. I guess that's probably the correct way to do it. But that call sucks. Now you say a foul is a foul. If it's a foul in the first minute of the game, it's a foul in the last minute of the game. I gotta tell you what, if I'm officiating a game, I ain't calling that in the first minute of the game. That was not a call that I would like to see made, because not every bit of contact is a foul. Can you say by the letter of the book? Yeah, I guess it's a foul, but it's a subjective call by these officials. They don't call every single thing. I guess it feels like it sometimes. Like I said last week, I think they called a little bit too much during this tournament. I don't like when somebody's dribbling around at the top of the key and they bump into each other, and then absolutely nothing happens, and then they blow a whistle and tag a guy with foul. I hate that. Yeah, it's a foul, but don't call every time guys touch each other. You only have so much space, and these are big dudes running full speed around, and these calls are. I appreciate that they're very hard to make, especially like the offensive foul and getting out of the restricted area. Those are such bang bangers. Those are hard to call. This call sucked. I don't care. I didn't like that call. Don't call that. Let these guys, if that shot doesn't go in, let them play it out in overtime, because we were enjoying a great game. And here we are once again talking about a questionable call at the end of the game. If he came down across his arm, by all means, call the foul. Right. If he knocks him down, by all means, call the foul. But he didn't. He just grazed into the guy. I hated that.
Yep. And speaking of questionable calls, there was a call during that Creighton San Diego State game. The referee missed the traveling call. And the arena, they let him hear it. I'm like, that's traveling. I'm like, you look at what you doing. You You looking dead ass at it. What are you doing?
He turned and shuffled the feet, I think, right?
Yeah, he turned. Well, I don't know if he turned and shuffled his feet or no. On the second one, he got it right. But at first, I think I don't know if he carried the ball. He did something on the
carried or drug his feet or something like that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he forgot to call. I'm up here in Ohio and I can see this, and you right there. What you doing? What you doing? But the ref got it right on the next time. But like you said, Scotty D, man, it shouldn't come like you said. If I just graze somebody like that, don't call a foul. If I do this in the first quarter, like you said, if I do this in the first quarter, it don't happen. When I do this in the fourth quarter, don't. Go ahead, be live.
Essentially, I think we're in agreement with that, and I thought hopefully that's something that they talk about before the Final Four, because you could clearly that was again, it's what we're talking about. That should be what we've had an amazing, like literally. I've had a conversation with these other dudes I'm in another bracket with. We're literally having a conversation of this could be the greatest March Madness we've ever seen,
Yeah.
just because of the parity. Now, if UConn ends up just blowing everybody out, then it's just UConn, and it is what it is. But man, nobody gives a crap about the numbers that are behind these teams' names. Florida Atlantic, they're like 9. What's a 9?
Yeah.
Right now, they've got the best record out of everybody in the tournament right now. Granted, yes, there's disparity here and there, but it's clear as day.
It's the one sport. I mean, it's the one sporting event that guarantees to deliver every year. Now, maybe the championship game might be a blowout, or you might have a blowout here and there, but as a whole, you are guaranteed to get close games that are decided by a point. It's
one way, and the thing about it is it's one way or the other. You're gonna have that 15 seed that just never quits, and they just come up, and you have the 1 seed or 2 seed that all thinks they got it or whatever. It absolutely delivers every single time, and that's why when I tell y'all little crazy cats when it comes to college football, you can't equate March Madness to college football. It's 2 entirely different sports. This is get that out of the way. I'm just going to say that.
It's apples to oranges, no question.
So everybody wants, you should expand the playoffs in football. Hey, you're trying to get somebody destroyed. No, it's set up the way it's set up. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I do want to add one other thing that we're in addition to how great this is, and going back to the controversial calls. One thing I kind of like, I think is a nice feature for this tournament is whenever there is a controversial call, what do they do? What do the announcers do if there's a call? They say, let's bring in Gene Steratore. Gene Steratore is a guy from Western Pennsylvania. Actually, my dad was a friend of his years ago. I like Gene. I appreciate pulling out the card out of his back pocket for the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I'm a fan of Gene Steratore. I'd like to have a little talk with him about the Dez catch thing, but that's a whole other topic. But wouldn't you pass out on the floor if Gene came out and disagreed with a call that was made on the floor? Wouldn't you just like lose it? Because I feel like he has backed the officials on almost every call that's been made. Yeah, when they say let's bring in Gene Steratore, what they should say is let's bring in Gene to confirm that the call on the floor is correct no matter what. Because I feel like that's what we're getting out of Gene. And I like Gene, but Gene, throw me a curveball once in a while and say that call was wrong.
So he's part of he's part of the union. He's got to he's part of the union. He's got to back up his fellow rest on the floor.
Yeah, he don't want to get singled out at the end of the year ref party.
Yeah, Gene's not coming to the Stripes party. Why? Because he didn't make the right call during March Madness. He's in the blue.
He disagreed with me.
he disagreed with me, and I don't like him, Gene Steratore. So Gene Steratore does for CBS. He does basketball and football.
Yeah, he was an on-court official in NCAA basketball for a number of years. In addition to,
Oh damn!
He's a household name because Scott, you're exactly right. Every call, let's bring in Gene Steratore. Just like the XFL, let's bring in our rules expert Dean Blandino.
Yeah, what a job those guys have at this point. I mean, I know they paid their dues, but man, they got the cushy job. And by the way, I saw Dean Blandino actually did that on a review. He said, "Yeah, we messed that one up." There was a call on offense and defensive offsides. They were which team should have been called in an XFL game. They brought him. He said, "Yeah, we messed that one up." I was like, "Okay, there you go."
Did Scotty D just admit that he was watching an XFL game?
I did watch a YouTube clip of the XFL. I mean, when I saw the Dean Blandino thing, I was very curious.
Let me see. 9:17 p.m. March 28th, 2023. It is so documented.
I told you I watched a couple.
I don't care what I got. Guy, it is on the air.
You push your eyes on it.
I did watch like 3 or 4 plays a month ago, and I actually did not watch a play of this. But I did watch the Dean Blandino clip where he said, "Yeah, we bought it." I wanted to see what that was about, and I thought that was cool. Okay,
shameless plug. Catch our weekly highlight reels, Sports Bros top 5.
Are you still
on
doing
YouTube?
That?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just posted that about an hour ago. That was the one I was working on that project too.
Really?
I do. Yeah.
He just did that
every week. You're gonna get the XFL top 5 from your boy. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Wow. Interesting.
And before we get out of here, fellas, real quick, national title games. The national
shows how much I get support from my own bros.
Well, we love it. I love it. I love it. And matter of fact, you've been getting some good kudos about that, B-Live. Yes, you have. Real quick. All right. So the Final Four national championship game. Which two teams win the respective games? Which two teams meet in the final, and which team wins it all? B-Live, you first.
Oh boy, it's tough to root against UConn. I'm going to say FAU versus UConn, and then I think UConn wins it all. I just as much as I want any other team, I want any other team to win this just for sure, just for somebody else to do it. But I think UConn's going to win it all. I think FAU is going to beat San Diego State. I think FAU is just playing on a different level. Like I just think they want it more. San Diego State, don't get me wrong, but I just think FAU is just they want it. They want it, and it just the whole story behind it. I think the coach wanted to quit. They get the
and they got a 7-footer. They got a 7-footer down there too. Golden, he's a handful down there.
I think that his first recruit has been there the entire time. I think this is like his 15th year of eligibility, and it's like so. I would like this. I would like this. Here's the thing. I would not mind seeing an all Florida championship. Nothing against San Diego State, but I would like to see it. But I'm going to just go with what I see. UConn wins it all. FAU gets to the championship. Scotty D, what you got?
You know, I'm wrestling with this, but I think I am going to pick the upset. I think I am going to take Miami for the simple fact that UConn hasn't been hit in the mouth yet, at least not in this tournament. Now, you know,
okay,
Big East is something different, but I think that Texas game may have hardened Miami and sharpened them up. So I'm not super convicted on it because I was convinced after last week that UConn was just going to steamroll everybody off the floor. And I hate saying I can't see the Sonogo cutting down the nets because that's a bad boy. But I'm just going to go with Miami for the reasons I said before. The experience and having been a little bit more battle tested, and I think they're going to go over Florida Atlantic. I guess we're all picking against San Diego State here. Oh, Eddie, what do you got?
I'm picking in the final San Diego State, UConn, and UConn with the dub. Yep.
Yeah.
The national championship goes back to Storrs, Connecticut. That's where it is.
I'm gonna put a quick note in there. Eddie Cool is picking San Diego State because that's where he didn't graduate from San Diego State University, but he graduated in the facility of San Diego State University.
That's right.
That was very nice. You know how to throw that plug in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
San Diego State, that very nice campus, absolutely very nice campus. I was glad to be there, glad to support my bro. Yes, sir.
Be like real quick. You remember we walked across the street because we was like, "Hey, we got to go to the bathroom." And it's like, "No, you got to go over there." And what do we stumble upon? The San Diego State Hall of Fame, where we saw what Kawhi Leonard,
yep,
and Marshall Faulk's uniform, and I was like, "Oh, look at this." So yeah, that was pretty cool. Fellas, looking at my phone because I have yet to get a watch. Guess what time it is?
What time is what we got going on? What's happening?
Other than being late as hell, I'm glad you asked it this time once again for our favorite portion of the show. You guessed it, the choices of the voices. With that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming right at you like bad breath in the morning right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and Scotty D. Watch your ears. So love him Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. We ask y'all the question, you give us the answer. We talk about it. We pick shit. Scotty D will giggle because he can't believe it. And B Live might just get mad because if you don't listen, you will go to the penalty box, or as they say in NHL 98, to the sin bin he goes. All right. So with that being said, Scotty D, what's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
So this week, I believe we went back to the Lamar Jackson well. And actually, since we asked this question, more stuff about this guy has come out. But the question we posed last week was, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this situation? Where do you think he'll be playing next year? With Baltimore, another team, or not at all? Eddie Cool, what do the people say?
All right, our Hall of Famer Uncle Max, he says, I think a team will make him an offer, and then the Ravens will match it. So that's one for stay, a Hall of Famer Uncle Max. Tom Wynn says, not sitting out, that's for sure.
So that's interesting. So he's saying that Lamar Jackson will suit up and play for somebody this year.
Yep.
All right, we'll see.
Trey Dizzle gave me an essay, and we will read that at the end. All right.
We'll have to, let's go Cliff Notes on it at the end.
The thing about it is that I even shortened it as much as I tried. And I was like, some of it makes sense, and then some of it to him being Trey Dizzle. But he has some thoughts in there, so I left most of it in there, and then I'll let you go with that. He's. You know what? I'll do you a favor because I've had a little bit more time to look at it. I'm gonna nitpick it real quick.
Okay.
He's the best running QB ever and hasn't sniffed the Super Bowl. What does that tell you? He's had a great coach, decent wide receivers, a great tight end, and a solid enough defense in most seasons. He's already had a major injury sideline him for the most important part of the Ravens season, and now he wants $1 billion. For what? Because quote unquote, Sky D, you'll enjoy this. The market says so. Forget the stupid market. Sorry, but he's a running back playing quarterback. He can't throw well enough. Has 1 or 2 games a season where he actually throws the ball. QBs who stand in the pocket and make quick, smart, accurate pre- and post-snap decisions help you win Super Bowls. Quarterbacks who run around help John Madden sell video games, then lose their legs and become a nobody backup. I think that was a jab towards Michael Vick there. Okay, their guy, but
great points, Trey Dizzle.
That's what I'm saying. I think these are actually great points. Like I said, I edited out some of the dumbness that Trey Dizzle has to make him actually sound intelligent. But no. And just to opine on this, yeah, I think Baltimore Ravens' biggest argument right now is that they won Super Bowls with Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So why would they spend all this money on Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, that's it. And see, that's a very strong argument by the Ravens organization. Like, look, we did this with this guy and this guy, and we gave them next to nothing.
It's such a tough argument though because Lamar Jackson puts butts in seats. But I guess at the end of the day, everybody wants to win the Super Bowl. Now it's just a matter of will Baltimore decide to take it? Because if you lose Lamar Jackson at this point, who are you going to rebuild with? And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit later. But that's the argument right now. Baltimore is saying we've done it with much less and a lot cheaper. So, Trey Dizzle, solid points there.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Real wild as hell. All right, we got Corey Logren. He says Pat Kerwin from Sirius NFL Radio suggests the Colts write him a 3-year, $150 million contract with no option for franchise tag at the end. Jackson should accept something like that and take it to the Ravens, to which Jim Miller said most likely Baltimore would match it. So Corey Logren is saying a 3-year, $150 million deal with the Colts. Now, I've seen that been circling around too.
Yeah, there's some flirtation going on right now, but I don't think that's a good fit. The Colts, they're more in a rebuild, I think, that right now. And yeah, I don't know. Lamar's going to want to go win. I don't know that the Colts are the team to do it.
Lamar wants more than 3 years. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
That sounds good. It sounds good. 150 million. He wants more than 3 years. That's part of the argument. As is, I'm pretty sure he wants the likes of a 5-year fully guaranteed deal.
He wants Sean Watson's contract.
That's who sullied the market up. Remember, that's who Scotty D the market. Scotty D, what does Greg Olson have to say about the market?
Yeah, I think I think Lamar could definitely get a deal that big. He's proven he's a good quarterback, but yeah, then he might not get a deal like that at all either. It's really hard to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Greg Olson. He joined us here on the Choices of the Voices.
Greg,
yeah, he's a really good quarterback.
Greg Olson, I apologize. Like, you already got to deal with Tom Brady all usurping you next year. Now you got Scotty D making fun of you. I don't support this behavior at all.
Greg, we do it because we love you, brother. We love it.
Yeah,
we love you.
Yeah.
All right. John DeFalla, he says he think he winds up with a surprise team. I think there's bad blood now, and Lamar Jackson tells the Ravens that he will sit out to hit free agency next year. Ravens decide to move on and trade him for only 1 first-round pick and some later round picks or players in some sort of sign and trade deal. So sign and trade, it's a whole lot. Damn, Joe, you gave us a whole lot here. A whole lot here.
Well, I'm gonna sneak in real quick because he made this prediction before Lamar Jackson made that tweet and where he asked for a trade. A trade wasn't in the picture until that tweet came out from Lamar Jackson. It wasn't in our picture. We hadn't seen it being the spectators on the outside. So now the fact that Lamar Jackson wanted a trade, which would actually almost be in the better interest of the Ravens, as opposed, because teams aren't trying to lose 2 first-round draft picks, but a first and a second, a first and a third, still would be somewhat beneficial. And the Ravens would be able to offload what that contract, and the other team will be able to negotiate and do whatever. So that might be in the best interest of the Ravens at this point in time. Have them sign the non-exclusive deal, then trade them, and then the next team negotiates that new deal. So John was almost spot on with it.
Yeah,
when he did the sign and trade. So much.
I felt like that tweet that he sent out is an act of desperation. I felt like they're at a stalemate and he's sitting there not getting what he wants. So he sent that out just to show they're really doing me wrong, the Ravens. I tried to get a trade. I'm trying to get out of here. Thank you, fans, for all you've done for me. I love you guys, but they're not giving me what I'm worth. I felt like it was a desperation act on his part.
Hey,
because he has no leverage. He has no leverage really.
I tell you, this might be code for. I don't
think it's desperation.
I do.
This might be code for Lamar. Hang tight, because this might be the year the defense takes us to the Super Bowl.
The reason why I don't say it's desperation.
It's wild. I know.
The reason why I don't think it's desperation, though, is the timing. He timed it right before John Harbaugh was to hit the podium at the NFL team meetings. He timed that. That was deliberate. That was methodical. The fact that all 32
teams, it's desperate. It's desperate.
Well, he's stuck
not getting what he wants, and
if the team has been what the head talking heads be saying. They the one, they control the narrative. There it is.
Yeah, control the narrative. Yeah.
The team has been controlling the narrative the entire time. All we've heard for the majority part is Lamar Jackson didn't take this deal. That was good. Lamar Jackson didn't do this. Lamar Jackson wants all of this money. Lamar Jackson was sitting back, well, hold on. I didn't say that. I didn't do that. And now the latest one from the NFL where all of you teams are not to talk to this guy that's supposed to be a representative of Lamar Jackson's camp. And Lamar Jackson was like, I didn't send him to do anything. And he said, all right, you know what? He probably thought about it for a good long time. Like, wait a minute, y'all just gonna run with whatever y'all see here. Let me tell you what I have to say. Scott, there is a bit of truth in what you say, where like, he's not in a position of power. He's not. But there is still. I mean, you would have to be foolish to not want Lamar Jackson. It's just a matter of now, can we get Lamar Jackson? Because can we get him off of the fully guaranteed?
Well, that's the thing. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. And if you're willing to do that Deshaun Watson travesty deal, you can have him. And if you're willing to part with 2 first rounders, so far, teams that need quarterbacks, they're more willing to roll the dice on an unknown rookie who's never stepped into the league that they're going to pick next month than they are for a guy who they know what you get. A guy who doesn't win playoff games and a guy who doesn't finish the season anymore because the injuries catch up with him.
I'm gonna do you a solid because I want to get in. We do have a few more answers to get to, but there I want to dive into a couple other things. Eddie, cool. Let's hear from the rest of the voices because we gonna talk about it.
It's getting talked about. It's getting talked about.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Jeffrey Lewis says the Ravens need to keep Lamar. They have draft picked 23 and should try to supplement his talent with a wide receiver like Downs from the Tar Heels. So he's referring to the wide receiver Downs from the Tar Heels. All right. So here we go. We got Chris Venable. He said it's the draft picks they're worrying about and the hefty price too. That's a whole lot. I'll say this real quick on a side note. Had Deshaun Watson performed at a spectacular level after the suspension, then the guaranteed money, I don't think it'd be an issue. I really wouldn't. But due to the fact that he sullied the market and he sullied it up, that's why as a quarterback, we can't give you no guaranteed money because you severely underperformed. Yeah, I said it and I'll say it again. William Shepard said, I think he should just sit the season out. Nick Way says post-draft moves are likely. From what I understand, it'll be more cost-effective. Watch out for the Jets to bail on Rodgers and chase Lamar. Ooh. Curveball by Nick Way.
That could very, very.
It's not super far-fetched.
No. Yeah. But the Jets might say, you know what, the hell with it. We're going to do this. Let's go get them.
But that price is probably still steeper than what they're already unwilling to part with for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, is Green Bay asking for 2 first rounders? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the stall out is between the Packers and the Jets. It's public with Lamar. We know what happens because he's on that non-exclusive tag. But there's obviously some issues with the Green Bay deal too, because the Packers evidently don't want to eat $59 million against their cap as well as part ways with a bunch of picks. Again, for a quarterback who has not been that successful in the postseason as of late.
Yeah,
he don't win playoff games either.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. All right, you want to go through the circuit how you normally do it, or can I'm ready.
Go ahead, say what you get. You're chomping at the bit. Go ahead and say.
Go ahead, I'll go ahead and say it.
I've been chomping at the bit. Let me start off. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna play the blame game first before I get into what exactly is going to happen to Lamar. Because this is
the Sports Bros Podcast presents the blame game. Whose fault is it but your own?
Let's start off first because this is something that does not get talked about at all. It's unbelievable. They just recently started bringing it up, and I'm like, I digged in and did a little research beforehand. Well, let's start first. Who's first to blame? I first blame Matthew Stafford. Why Matthew Stafford? Why do you blame Matthew Stafford? If you, I didn't do all the research, but I just know that Matthew Stafford was the last rookie quarterback to get those super ridiculous deals that $70 million right out of college. I think that's what he got.
Yeah, he got that. Yeah, he got it guaranteed. Yeah, because I thought it was 50, but it was 70.
And that was before he took his first snap in the NFL. the NFL the NFL owners were like, hold on, man, we this is ridiculous. We paying rookies this much, and that means we can't even pay our veterans that much. And the owners and the players agreed that okay, let's dial back the rookie pay scale. And the first team that affected, the first quarterback that affected, it was Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. We got Cam Newton on the cheap, and that was a wonderful thing for us Carolina Panthers fans.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I start off with that is because that changed the game as to where before you would pick up your veteran quarterbacks way before you took the risk of trading up and picking somebody out of the draft, because it was cheaper to get your veteran quarterbacks than it was to get a unproven top level QB out of college that you had no idea what was going to happen. And that's part one of Lamar Jackson's problem. Yeah, you just mentioned teams would rather now take the risk, get a quarterback on the cheap, I think probably like 20 some, 15 some, 20 million a year, something like that now. I really didn't look into it because but y'all feeling my point here.
Got you, yeah.
So that's part number one of the blame game, Matthew Stafford. And it really wasn't Matthew Stafford. It was just he was the last one to get that big deal. And now Lamar Jackson suffering a little bit from that. Blame game number
Suffering is such an extreme word for a guy who turned down $150 million. Anyway, go ahead.
I know it is what it is. Shoot,
we all suffer. Yeah, I know. We all suffer. Good. I'd love to have that kind of
hey, Greg Olson. What does Greg Olson have to say about Lamar Jackson suffering after turning down $150 million?
Yeah, I think if he would get out there and see what suffering is really like, he might take the deal. If he would try being a lunch lady once in a while.
Man, I just want to get 2 commas just to talk about sports there, Greg Olson and Tom Brady. But 2 commas in that. But blame game number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Because right, there was a certain quarterback in 2018 that did get a fully guaranteed deal, and nobody ran with it. But see, here's the thing.
Kirk
You're
Cousins.
Absolutely right. 3 years, $84 million guaranteed, but nobody followed suit. None of the players really drove and then when Patrick Mahomes, which is arguably there's no arguably about it, the best quarterback in the game, signed the biggest team-friendly deal we've ever seen with I think he got like 160 guaranteed. In Kansas City, we're like, oh, absolutely. We'll sign you for $500 million if we only guarantee 160, and we're going to restructure it 3 years later anyway. That's exactly what.
Oh my God!
It looks good. It looks good on paper, but it at the end of the day, because the way
it is a good contract, because he's still going to get that money, because even though it's not guaranteed, other than a career-ending injury, but he's young, so he's not like at the end of a deal.
We can hope that. We hope this is a violent sport, but
which is why you don't guarantee money.
But as a player, like, and there's a lot of players out there. They're like, this is their livelihood. And I know, Scotty D, I know your argument is always going to be, oh, they're millionaires and all this extra money. But come on, we've had this argument before about the market. Let's just put it this way. In any job that you do, wouldn't you want to get paid the maximum amount for it?
Yes.
In any job that you do. It's just the same. You're going to be really mad when you find out how much Otani Shohei is going to make this year.
Well, okay, but if you were a restaurant manager, if you go to them and say, hey, everyone's making $40,000 a year, I would like to make $60,000 a year. They'd say, okay, well then go somewhere else and do it. Go take another job. If Lamar Jackson is not happy with a $32 million guarantee on the franchise tag this year, use your degree. You went to Louisville, you went to college, go be a social worker and see if they'll pay you $50 million a year, or go be a teacher or a professor, see if they'll pay you $50 million a year. This is the business that you chose. You chose this.
Okay, no. Here we go. All right, I'm here with you. I want you to use your very argument. In any profession. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let me just do something basic. Let's go with restaurant manager. We're gonna stay right there with the restaurant manager. If I am a restaurant manager of Applebee's here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and then there's a manager at an Applebee's in Charlotte, North Carolina. They do the same amount in sales. They perform. The performance is somewhat the same. Actually, I have a few more accolades than this manager that does the same job. I have a few more accolades. I've broken a couple more records. I've had a little bit more success record. They decide to give that manager a raise from $50,000 to $75,000. Would I be wrong to ask for $80,000 because I do a better job than that manager does?
You can ask. You can ask. Get it?
I'm gonna say no.
But here's the thing. Are you gonna sit at home and hope that hope that maybe TGI Fridays calls you and says, yeah, we'll do it. We'll give you that extra money. We'll give you that $80,000. And then if they don't, what happens? You going to go back to Applebee's? Take that money? I won't
75. I want 75 at least.
Okay, then here you go. You got your 75. But he's not happy with that. That's not
$230 million guaranteed. No, here's the thing. That's a stupid contract, and I'm still mad about it. But like, there's got to be some type of like. I say 200 million. But here's the thing: the owners don't want to. That's why I wanted to bring up Kirk Cousins. I want to bring up Patrick Mahomes. They had an opportunity. Players had an opportunity to run with guaranteed money, start really presenting guaranteed money, and they didn't do it. And then the owners turn around.
Maybe because they had agents, and their owners said to the agents, "That's not realistic. We're not running that type of business. We can't afford to fully guarantee that position at that money."
That's why there's a players' union. That's why there's a players' union.
And they agreed to the franchise tag.
And that's that's the problem. That's the
okay. But
that's why I bring it up. Lamar Jackson is trying to do something that should have been done a long time ago.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Contracts shouldn't be fully guaranteed. If you can tell,
it's the only sport that it isn't.
If you're and this is the only sport where you can blow a knee out and then have to pay a guy for 6 more years. That's the most violent of sport. So if I'm running a business, am I going to say, hey, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pay you everything you want. And if you get hurt, and then I'll just pay another quarterback and guarantee him all that. And I'll just pay all kind of quarterbacks, all kind of money. And I won't be able to afford to pay anybody else good. But that's okay, as long as you get paid. It's funny when everybody wants to spend somebody else's money. These are businesses. These guys are trying to do 2 things: make money and win a championship. And if your salary demands aren't going to fit into that business model, we can't do it. And that's why the one franchise that did do it is 0 for 58 at getting into the Super Bowl. And you want to go and copy that franchise? You want to do that? This team hasn't had a quarterback since Bernie Kosar in 1987. They were desperate for a quarterback.
For all of Eddie Cool's listening audience, we apologize ahead of time for Scotty. We don't apologize for anything.
It is what it is.
That was a terrible thing.
But it's true.
It's true. Scotty D, I agree with you with that. That's why it should the Sean Watson and the Haslam's, that contract should not have happened. That's
right. That's what I'm saying.
But guaranteed money should be more of a thing. It should be more
then you should guarantee me a Super Bowl. So if you can say, Lamar, I'm going to give you that contract you want. And if you don't get me a Super Bowl after the second year, we're going to do the contract that I want to do. And we're going to pay you a lot less without the guarantees. How about that for a guarantee? Guarantee me postseason success, and I will guarantee you money. How about that? Does that sound fair?
So last week, this dude was against the owners because they're charging too much for tickets and popcorn. But now he's with the owners because they don't want to pay the players that provide us with the entertainment. But that's okay. You make valid points there, guys.
You know whose side I'm on? Mine. That's who. Not the owners or the players. I'm on my side. And my answer to this question is I think Lamar Jackson's going to sit out the year. I don't think he's going to play because I don't think he's going to cave, because at this point I think his pride is too much to say I'm going to buckle and accept that franchise tag. I'm going to sign that franchise tag. I think he's overplayed his hand. I think he thinks he's worth more. When I was back in college, I worked at a sporting card store, baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards. I had a Jerry Rice rookie card. Everyone said, man, that thing is going to be worth a lot of money someday. A lot of money. I would like to take that card right now and sell it for about $300 or $400. On eBay, it's going for $8.50.
What the hell?
That means that's not as valuable as I really feel like it should be. I feel like I should be able to get more. And that's what Lamar Jackson's saying. They are not giving me what I'm worth. Well, if you were worth that, one of these other 5 teams that have already passed on you and not offered the draft picks and the money, they would have already come up, stepped forward, and played ball with you. It's same thing's going on in Dallas. Dalton Schultz turned down 3 years, $36 million.
Nobody cares about those.
It's another example. Let me finish.
Go ahead, Scotty D. Go ahead.
The Cowboys offered this man 3 years, $36 million. He turned that down. He bet on himself, played 10 for a franchise tag of $10 million, and last week signed a contract with another team for 1 year, $9 million. Now, you tell me, did he also misplayed his hand? He wanted the guaranteed longer deal. And this guy's a 26-year-old free agent as well. It's time it's time that some of these guys realize they're not going to get exactly what you want, because as the game evolves, like the running back position, you're not going to see any more Zeke contracts for a while because we're getting away from that. And maybe, maybe that's going to hurt Joe Mixon or what the young kid from the Jets when he gets off his rookie deal.
This is going to hurt Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler. Yeah.
And guess what? Tony Pollard got offered that same kind of deal, a $10 million franchise. He took it. You know why? It's smart, because he's putting money in his pocket.
Yeah, guaranteed money. So, Scotty D, you say he sits out?
I think he sits out this year, yeah.
I'm just going to thought there, sign and trade. It's going to be a sign and trade. I think because Baltimore is going to want something. So I think they're going to start seeing if they can wheel and deal. They're going to talk to. I think it's going to make some things happen. It's going to be a sign and trade. Eddie Cool, what you say?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't know.
It's okay. You can say I'm right. I
don't like.
You won't hurt B-Live's feelings. You can say I'm right.
I thought about the question. I'm over just read a bunch of stuff. Like, I took 3 days off from watching TV altogether because what's Lamar Jackson gonna do? Man, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I know we're gonna be talking about it all summer though, until training camp starts.
Yeah.
It's already been over talked, but we got a draft coming up, and we're gonna talk. I think we didn't have at least 2 episodes, maybe 3 that we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, we have.
I think we talk about it every week.
Yeah, because I'm just over here like. I'm looking at TV. I'm like, and when you ask me a question, I'm thinking hard. I'm like, Erica, what you think? I don't know. What we gonna do? Was
the coach trying to say? I don't know. It don't make a damn better.
It was a comedian, Roy D. Mercer. Roy D. Mercer. I don't know. It don't make a damn bit of difference. Pretty much. That's where I am. I don't know. It don't make a damn bit of difference. I legit don't know. I legit don't know. All right, with that being said, that's been another edition of Choice of the Voices. But Scotty D, what's the question for next week?
All right, next week we're gonna actually, just to kind of piggyback off of the old job that I was talking about, the old trading card kind of thing. We're gonna ask you to share with us one of your prized sports possessions. So it could be an autographed picture you got of someone, or a program from your first game, or a towel you got from a ball game, or a trading card or something. Jerry Rice rookie, something to that effect. Whatever you feel is your sports prize possession, share that with us next week, and we'll share with you. And that will give us something to talk about next week, Eddie. Cool.
All right. The Sports Bros market is open for business. I'm trying to. I got some things I'm trying to sell right now. All my life been told.
Don't you do that. Let me see what this Tony Gonzalez rookie card is hitting for. I'll see these cards is hitting for real quick. He retired.
I'll trade your Rice rookie for him.
Hey man, we might have to do some business.
I got a couple things in there that might have Michael Jordan's name on it, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, and real quick, man, before we get the hell up out of here, before we go to a round of pepper, if you see athletes in person, if you see them in public, act like you got some damn sense. Just how you got some sense. That's all. Just I'm
gonna do one better. Stop trying to make money off of these athletes. Stop trying to just bring them stuff so you're just gonna turn around and sell it a day later. They sick of it. They sick of that.
Yeah,
you're ruining it for the kids that have little memorabilia and stuff like that. You got grown ass people out there just bringing stuff just so they can turn around and sell it. No. Y'all need to go somewhere and sit. Like if I was a pro athlete, I wouldn't sign nothing for nobody that was over the age of 16. It ain't for you.
Yeah.
You grown. I'm just saying, you grown.
And also, if you go to a golf tournament, don't drink 6 beers and then wait till it gets quiet and try to yell something clever, because it's stupid. Nobody thinks you're funny.
That felt personal.
Yeah.
I'm watching Rory McIlroy on TV and he hits a ball and it's all quiet and the gallery's watching. The guy's like, "We love you, Rory," or whatever it is. They try to crack jokes and say funny stuff. Stop that. You're not funny. Drunk golf guy.
Par 5, 600 yard off the tee.
You're the hole. Yeah, stop that. Stop that.
Yeah, the ball is listening and you're drunk, clearly. Hey, put all that energy into washing your ass, all right? That's been it. Yeah.
Bucket list though. Phoenix Waste Management Open. So I think that's one of the ones where they actually encourage that crowd participation and everything. Right? That's one that I wanted. Phoenix Waste Management Open. That is a bucket list. I would like to go to that.
All right. Well, buy us tickets. We'll have them there with you next year.
Coming up next, we got a round of pepper. Yep, a round of pepper right here on the Sports Bros Podcast, an action-packed edition of the Sports Bros Podcast. Twist that pepper. Well, you heard, woman, it's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, we got a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really, here to engage, educate, enlighten, and entertain. The 4 E's, all right? Even though I kind of botched it halfway, I'm still a professional. With that being said, I'll go first. On this day in history, back in 1972, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain played his last pro basketball game. So, 10 years before I was born, Wilt Chamberlain said, "You know what? I've had enough."
What year was it, the young man?
72.
72.
Yeah, I was born in 82.
Some of us were born in 72.
Yeah.
Hey. Some of us. One of us.
One or two of us.
The year Scotty D began, Wilt Chamberlain said, "I'm done." That's it. All right. So, this day in history back in 72, Wilt Chamberlain says, "You know what? I'm done. That is it." Over to you, Scotty D.
All right, so I just came across some information earlier where the Brooklyn Nets are shutting down Ben Simmons for the season due to nerve and back issues. Ben Simmons, who is 6'10" and brittle and missed 33 games this year, and even Zion thinks is a waste of space. 44% free throw percentage this year and under 7 points per game. And next year, Ben Simmons will make $37.8 million, and the following season, $40.3 million. Once again, proving my point about people regretting giving athletes some of these giant contracts. Be live to you.
Wow, Ben Simmons.
That just hurt my. You know what? That's you. That's a good argument. That's how you present an argument.
Just go to Ben Simmons.
30 million.
Be live is befuddled. Look at him. He can't stand himself right now.
I want to cuss so bad.
Missed 33 games this year and all of them last year.
And got paid for them. All right, cool.
Philly glad. Philly's so happy to be gone. Have that dude gone. All right, Bilal, go ahead. Move on.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Hold on. Let me do the math. Let me do the math real quick. 82 plus 33.
A waste. That's all it is. A lot to get paid for it. I wish I could just not be hurt and have mental issues and get paid.
Which means he ain't worked in 115 days, technically speaking.
Boy.
Go ahead,
yeah. All right. So there, over the course of the past week, there's been a little bit of contention in the Big East Conference because there was a shift in the power when it comes to men's basketball coaches, where Georgetown hired Providence's coach Ed Cooley away from the Friars earlier this week. And the Providence athletic director was not happy. Steve Napolillo made it known, because it was his first year as the athletic director at Providence, that he thought there was a brotherhood and there was a unwritten rule when it comes to the other athletic directors in the conference, and not to poach or try to steal or try to negotiate or hire from within. Steve Napolillo, welcome to anything in sports, especially at this level. Yeah, if you got somebody that's good, somebody wants them.
Somebody's coming for them.
Somebody's coming for them. And so he literally said that Georgetown's athletic director, Lee Reed, was in bad faith when hiring the coach away from his program. Get over yourself and learn from this, and you're going to move on. Eddie Cool, the ball.
Yeah, like you said, if you're good enough, somebody's going to they like you and they want you. So yeah, that's exactly what the hell is going to happen. So fellas, second point, we got an NFL owners meeting going on. Yes, they're talking about a whole bunch of nothing, probably talking about how they're not going to pay Lamar Jackson is all his money he wants.
They're colluding. They're colluding.
Oh, you better watch out. All right, so here we go. There's a rule change, however. The NFL, according to Aaron Walsh's Bleacher Report, the NFL owners approved new rule change proposal to allow players to wear the number 0.
Woo!
Yeah, number 0. About time the NFL got to it. 0 is there's a rapper by the name of Zero who is my favorite rapper, and the number 0 is just it's the number 0. Number 0. You know, they wear it for many reasons. All right, so welcome back, NFL number 0. On Tuesday, the league's owner approved the proposal to allow players to wear jersey number 0, according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Only players in position groups allowed to wear the single-digit numbers can sport 0. So I'm thinking, was it like no offensive lineman, no defensive lineman? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay, so here it is. All punters and place kickers can now wear numbers 0 through 49 and 90 through 99. God damn, it's going to like college all over again. Yeah. So the first person,
a kicker running out there with a number 99 on. I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah. Hey, maybe Rodrigo Blankenship can get his number back.
Yeah, because all kickers are numbered 1. Now we
Yeah.
have one out there for 99. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So the first one who said he's like, no, what? I'll wear 0. Let's take a wild guess, fellas.
No clue.
Terrell Owens.
Wrong.
Antonio Brown.
Oh God, he's too busy. His ankle's still tore up, and he's too busy doing his little finger dance and just
Lamar Jackson.
Oh God. Anyways, the Jacksonville Jaguars recently reinstated wide receiver Calvin Ridley says, you know what? I'll wear number 0. So yeah, it'll be an interesting look to see a wide receiver with the number 0. Over to you, Scotty D.
Now I think about it. When I first saw that story, I thought, that's not that big of a deal. Now I think about it, I think I'm going to hate it. Okay. 0 is not a number. It's literally before numbers begin. It's not a number. Okay. Back to this contract thing. We talk every year in the summer. We actually wish one another happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Because Bobby Bonilla gets $1 million like every July 3rd, I think. And he's got it coming to him like for another, 10 years or so?
36, I want to say something like that.
Something like that. It was like the greatest negotiated contract of all time. And this is not that uncommon for baseball players to do these deferred contracts. Currently, Manny Ramirez, Matt Holliday, Todd Helton, all still getting deferred contract money. But none of them are the 4th highest paid player on the team, like Ken Griffey Jr. is for the Reds this year. Ken Griffey Jr.'s last game was 2010. His last good one was 2000. And yet, he is going to be paid $3.59 million for the upcoming season, behind Joey Votto, Will Myers, and Mike Moustakas, who was released from the Reds. So, again, more money well spent on athletes. But congratulations to Ken Griffey Jr. for being the 4th. Okay, maybe I ought to call him up, have him take a couple swings. Who knows? Anyway, be live. Over to you.
World Baseball Classic. He still got it. He still got it.
He still got it.
The sweetest swing ever in the game.
Oh, it was. It really was.
All right. Well, my second pepper point.
Hold on, be like, I had an idea. Maybe Ken Griffey should do like a touring brand, be like, yep, I'm Ken Griffey, and y'all gonna watch me take batting practice at 3 years old or something like that?
Yeah, do like a Floyd Mayweather thing.
Yeah.
Where Floyd Mayweather's just like kind of showing up and like tapping and people say, hey, it's like an exhibition box match. Yeah, Ken Griffey, you just charge people to come watch him take BP. Great idea.
They crazy as hell to pay for it. Go ahead, B-Lab. I'm sorry.
Hey, if he still do a baseball camp, I put my kid in a baseball camp. My second pepper point earlier in our episode, Scotty D just could not help but bring up his beloved Dallas Cowboys, even though it had nothing to do with anything. Now it had some reference. I get it, whatever. Well, my second pepper point, at some point in time, all roads lead to Dabo. You know it, yeah, sir. And this road goes into the WWE. How, Sway? How? Former Clemson quarterback Kelly Bryant, who got benched instead and Clemson went with Trevor Lawrence and 15-0 and all of that jazz.
I remember him.
Alabama 44-60. But Kelly Bryant, he ended up transferring to Missouri. Nothing happened to that, and haven't heard anything from him. He is trying out for the WWE with the next in line program that WWE has. He's going to try out, and he wants to be a professional wrestler. Kelly Bryant, just as long as you don't end up like Mansoir and Marseille, do what you got to do, and good luck to your brother. All roads lead to Dabo. Bleed orange, Clemson all day. Yes, sir. Eddie Cool.
He better show the right people are in creative, because they'll have him being Calais. Okay.
And stop it with Otis. Just let him be funny, but I don't need him to be a model. Let's not do that. Bring back the cowpillar. My bad, Eddie Cole. Yes, sir.
We love Funny Otis. We love Funny Otis. One of these days, y'all, Wrestle Bros episode 3 coming soon. So stay tuned for that one. All right. Third and final pepper point. On this day in history, back in 1963, the AFL's New York Titans become the New York Football Jets.
Aha.
Hey, Jets, guess what? On this day in history, it should have been we mortgaged the farm to get Aaron Rodgers. But who knows? Who knows? It could be sooner than later. But you ain't hear it from me. I'm just speculating stuff. Over to you, Scotty D.
Okay, with UFC just coming up in a couple weeks when we have the Michael Pereira Israel Adesanya rematch, we're all anxiously awaiting that fight coming up here. I think it's a week from Saturday. There has been a little bit of trash talking going on with Beneil Dariush and Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, we have not seen him fight since July of 2021 when he got his leg snapped in a worse way against Dustin Poirier in the octagon. He's had to rehab that broken leg, and now he's on the Ultimate Fighter as a coach opposite of Michael Chandler, and the two of them are set to fight at the conclusion of the show. No date has been set yet, and one of the hangups is that Conor McGregor has yet to enter the USADA drug testing program. He filed retirement papers, and upon re-entering, he is required to give 6 months worth of drug testing before his next fight. And Beneil Dariush, the number 4 ranked lightweight contender, says that is cheating. That is BS. I think Conor's cheating. Evidently, Conor, from all reports, is starting to bulk up a little bit, getting a little stronger, getting a little tougher, a little muscular. And some of the other fighters are whispering about the fact that he is probably not doing it the all-natural way and just trying to sidestep this USADA drug testing program, because there are some ways around it that you're supposed to file some medical exemptions, and he has not done so. So Conor McGregor is thumbing his nose at the USADA drug testing program. Are we really going to actually see him back in the octagon this year? It'd be great to see him get in there, throw hands with Michael Chandler, but that remains to be seen. In the meantime, the other fighters, not so sure. But the headline is, I think Conor is cheating. We shall see, boys. We shall see. And also, no way do you guarantee Lamar Jackson $250 million in 5 years. Be live over to you.
In case you forgot.
Yeah. He had to sneak that in at the very end.
Just no way.
Well, my third and final pepper point. This is more of a tribute than anything else, and just also like how outstanding professional athletes can be in multiple facets and other things and whatnots. So, as you know, that San Diego State University, their men's basketball team, has made it into the Final Four of March Madness. You know, when smaller schools make it, you start hearing all kinds of facts and little things that you may not have known about the university. I want y'all just to, real quick, if you can, just all of the professional athletes in the world, who would you think would have the most assists in San Diego State University basketball history? Most assists of all time, San Diego State University.
Tony Gwynn.
How did you know?
Ooh.
Tony Gwynn, the Hall of Fame baseball player, also has prominence in basketball. He was an All-American in both sports.
Yeah,
he was in that little museum a little too long when we was graduating.
No,
read that.
No, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I saw something about that in another sports group like about 4 days.
You probably
ago.
Yeah. So you probably saw the same thing I thought. Yeah. I was like, I went to research and look. I was like, will I be doggone?
Yeah.
He was an All-American in both baseball and basketball at San Diego State University, and also, as you know, went on to play with the San Diego Padres. So he's just all things San Diego. On top of that, he was drafted in the NBA draft when in the 10th round. I guess the NBA draft had 10 rounds. Ugh. He was drafted by the then San Diego Clippers.
Oh my goodness.
He is all things San Diego. Wow. Hall of Famer. He passed away in 2014. But Tony Gwynn could literally do it all. Man, oh man. RIP to one of the greatest to ever do it. And San Diego State, the Aztecs, good luck to you in the Final Four. How in the hell did Texas get both the men and women's Final Four? Because the men's is in Houston, the women's is in Dallas. That's going to be just traffic. Just because what are like? How many hours away is Houston and Dallas? I know it's a big state, but
3 or 4. It's not that. It's not that far away from each other.
I feel like it's just going to be a lot of mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know the entire country is looking to converge on the women's Final Four. I mean, I'm sure
you're the only one. Like, there's been a movement,
so packed.
Sir.
It's gonna be so packed.
You got Angel Reese and LSU, Caitlin Clark and Iowa,
and if I'm not mistaken,
Leah Boston, South.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Houston also the home of all XFL players?
It is.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
That's
I lied.
Dallas.
No. It's actually North Texas.
North
Texas is where they all stay. They actually, and yeah, I learned that. Did I post that in the group?
I don't pay attention enough to know.
They all stay in North Texas, and then they travel to the respective cities to play their games in the XFL.
God, they better hope that there's not a NASCAR event going on in Texas this weekend.
Woo! Meanwhile, at the San Antonio Motor Speedway. Yeah. Listen, because be live to answer your question. It is 3.5 hours from Dallas to Houston.
Yeah, they're not going to be on top of each other. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
They're like Dallas. I think didn't Dallas just recently surpass Houston in population? Like they're like the 3rd largest or 4th largest.
You may be right.
I think Dallas did just supplant Houston. So everybody's moving to Texas.
Yeah.
The Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth.
Everybody except Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott.
Out of here. He's got to go. Yeah. Dalton Schultz, out of here.
Well, he's going to Houston. He's just moving up the road.
Oh, he's going. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Major League Baseball opening day this week, boys. We'll do a little, maybe a little baseball preview next week, huh?
Yeah, we can do that.
And didn't Brandon Cooks go from Houston to Dallas?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
hey, look. So
this was it. I think it was I-35 that separate the two.
45.
Sure.
45.
It's 45.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, 45.
All things Texas.
Yeah.
And Scotty D said, "You better not let them mess around and have a damn NASCAR race." I tell you what, if you are in Houston or Dallas and you bored,
not this weekend.
That's because your ass choose to be bored. You are bored by choice. If I'm in Dallas, I'd be mad because I wasn't in Houston. If I was in Houston, I'd be mad because I wasn't in Dallas. And you got the Dallas shag haircut, and Houston you got the South Side. Anyways, all right, we got all our pepper points out the way. I'm over comparing two cities I have no idea about.
Except Major League Baseball opening day is coming up. We'll talk baseball next week, and also on next week's episode, spoiler alert. I'm going to tell you who's going to win the Masters.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell, he just dropped some mic.
Unlike any other, just roll on. No, yep. That's it.
Be live. What you got going on, man? Outside of this year podcast, you karaoke gig?
Yes, I did karaoke, and Woodpeckers, holla at a player. I'm gonna send y'all something in just a little bit.
Real quick. Yep. You can catch me at WOBL, WDLW, learning, working, and making it happen. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden. And remember, All that energy you had on some BS, have that same kind of energy when you wash your ass, all right? It's been another episode, Sports Bros Podcast. I might not get a real radio job because I'm just too damn goofy. No, I'm playing. I'm joking. Thank you for watching. Listen, we appreciate it. Love you. Bye. Be live, you know what to do.
Yes, sir.
And we out of here. Oh, yeah. As far as Larsa Pippen goes, you're not doing all that many times a night because Scott had been on the road. I don't know who you're fooling. All right. That's it. Bye, y'all.
Why you always lying? Oh, my God. Stop lying.
This lying, man. For no reason. Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life? Wait a minute, don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros Podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.